Hello, welcome back. So I've been getting lots of messages about two main subjects which I'm going to cover over the next couple of weeks. The first one is glazing, so going from store-bought glazes to making your own glaze. So I personally use cone 10 and I'll talk to you about that again. So if you fire cone 6, I'll give you a little list of ingredients to buy, like raw materials to buy for your cone 6 recipes. If you fire cone 10, I'll give you a separate list. But basically we're going to work together to create a really nice, simple, clear glaze. Once you've got a clear glaze, like a base glaze, you can do lots of stuff to it. We'll look into opacifying it with tin or zirconium, and then we'll move on to sort of adding colorants or oxides to create various tones, and we'll gradually work through everything. But the most important thing is to get a really good base to work well with your clay body. And speaking of clay bodies, I've got a couple of different color clays. I've got very dark, like black clays here. I've got quite mid-tone, kind of toasty sort of brown clays, and I've also got quite light clays as well. So we're going to cover all the different ones, because obviously the clay body will dictate what the final glaze is going to look like. So I'll give you a little shopping list for that as well if you want. So if you want to get a dark clay, a mid-tone and a light clay, then we can kind of experiment, see which ones you like. If you like that kind of more rustic look, you can maybe go for a darker clay. If you want something a bit more refined, you can just get yourself a much lighter buff or a white clay. So one of the most important things about this base glaze is we're going to make it very stable and very durable. So we're going to look a little bit more into the chemistry, and we're going to take our ingredients, we're going to basically go online and plug them into a little calculator, and that's going to give all the information of how much alumina, how much silica and what fluxes we're using. And once we can look at that, we can start to really understand the glaze and how durable it is. And once we've got that information, we can start to take that glaze and push it more into a matte glaze. So there's a big difference between a true matte glaze and a matte glaze that's basically a glossy glaze that's been under fire and not very stable. Second one is, a lot of people have been asking me about the gas kiln. I actually built my gas kiln, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little video on how I built it, what materials I used, how much it cost, and the design and how it works and how I fire it. So I'll be covering all aspects of reduction firing, from building a kiln to maybe even just buying one and learning how to fire it. So I'll talk a little bit about reduction firing. So I'll compare the difference between a gas kiln and an electric kiln, looking at different oxidized atmospheres compared to reduction atmospheres. So we'll go into a bit more detail about that, and I'll run you through the steps on how I do a firing, from warming the kiln, how I pack the kiln, and then I'll go into more detail about my fire schedules and how I get it into reduction, and how you can control the amount of oxygen in the kiln as well. So there's lots to cover, and things are pretty hectic at the moment, but I'm going to do my best over the next couple of weeks to get as many videos out to you as possible. And we'll be starting off basically looking at the gas kiln. I'll also give you the shopping list for the glazing course, and it'll give you a bit of time to buy all that, and then we'll make a start on that. Great, well, I'll look forward to the next couple of videos, and I'll speak to you soon.